I want to talk about Rocco Baldelli in Game 1, and I really think he mismanaged the bullpen, and I think he definitely... Now, look, I like Baldelli. He did a good job. He's definitely a candidate for Manager of the Year. If I were voting Twins fan bias, I would give him my vote. But Baldelli's been a good manager. But when you look at Game 1 and how he managed it, his first move, Barrios taking him out after 4 innings, fine, understandable. Nobody's like, I know Bob Costas was like, well, you have to think Twins fans are wondering why they took Barrios out of the game. Bob Costas wasn't made for. I love Bob Costas. He was not ready that game.
Yeah, he can stick to news. That's fine.
But he was, so he's like, Twins fans are probably wondering why they took him out of the game. And like, no, we know why he took him out of the game. Pitch count was high.
You can tell that Bob Costas didn't watch a single Twins game.
It's kind of like Joe Madden, where he like blatantly just points out the obvious. It's like, we know why he took him out. It's like,
he's just like, Barrios threw a lot of pitches. His curveball wasn't hitting. He was afraid. It looked like Barrios in Game 1 was afraid to throw the curveball high because all of his curveballs were way too low.
Yeah, they were all just.
He was afraid to hang one.
Right. Which he was prone to giving up home runs too. And in a stadium like that, you want to keep that ball down. But I think
Barrios only gave up 1 earned run. He gave up 3 runs total, but that was 2 of them came on the Arise error. Yeah. And I think that's another thing that shouldn't be underlooked is the Yankees played incredible defense, whereas the Twins played average defense.
Yeah.
At best. I mean, and that's
since
generous.
The second half, I think the Twins.
Ever since Buxton really kind of went down,
our defense has just been not as good as it was in the first half.
And I'll get to Baldelli in a moment, but this is the thing with when you look at statistics and sabermetrics, and I'm a huge sabermetrics guy, and I think numbers do really tell a lot, and they're a good way to really quantify players. But I think you have to also have some kind of a mix of real world thinking. Like, take for example Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz isn't just a good player because of the numbers he brings. Nelson Cruz is also a good player because of the leadership qualities he brought. The Twins almost made the playoffs in 2015 solely on the basis of Torrey Hunter was just a phenomenal leader. And in 2017, the Twins had a clubhouse presence. They had clubhouse leaders, Eduardo Escobar. They had certain guys who just could lead the team. And in 2018, they didn't have that. And in 2019, they did. And there's just other things like defense. Like, defense does save runs. And it did the Twins made the playoffs in 2017 based on the nothing falls but raindrops outfield. And I think there needs to be that healthy mix of, okay, sabermetrics are a huge part of how we assess how good a player is, but to just overlook like intangibles is wrong. And I think that's something that the Twins front office will look at this year, and they will make a concerted effort, them and the coaching staff, to get better at defense. But back to Baldelli in Game 1. I think Baldelli mismanaged the bullpen. I think his first move after taking Barrios out to go to Zach Littell, on paper, that's fine. I'm not like upset about that. But then when that blows up, if you're Baldelli, you should immediately blow up the game plan you have and go, okay, this game is going to slip if we don't get it back. I'm bringing in Trevor May right now. I understand leaving Rogers and Romo for the latter third of the game, but I'm bringing in Trevor May right away.
Right.
And for him to not do that and to bring in Cody Stashek, I saw the thing on Twitter that said that it looked like Littell and Stashek had like pee running down their legs, like they were so scared. Like, to be on that mound, in that stadium, in that environment. And it really showed. They did not look comfortable on the mound.
Yeah, they're both rookie pitchers. And Littell, I think he walked a guy and then hit a guy, and then he left. I don't think he recorded an out. So
Littell, who was part of the Yankees farm system, too, by the way.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He was in the Jaime Garcia trade in 2017.
So, yeah, with the Stashek coming in, it was definitely a questionable move because there was runners on base. In scoring position, I don't think there were any outs. And you would want to have your guy to come in who's been proven to get these kind of situations done before. And I think Trevor May, like you said, would be a perfect example of that. But having Cody Stashek in, who hasn't pitched that often and not that well either, was definitely something that you can look at and ponder. Trevor May has a really good fastball, high 90s, and has a curve that is that could strike out stuff too. So I think that would have been more likely for him for me to get that situation taken care of rather than Stashek. I mean, yeah, you can look back at it as something that Baldelli should have maybe changed, but you still need pitchers. You still needed Stashek to get that inning done, and it might have been a bad decision, but
I think Baldelli got cute. I think he thought, I can save my main guys for the latter part of Game 1, but by the time you would have gotten to Rogers, Romo, May, the game was already out of hand
it was the fifth inning, right? When all that
happened.
And that's your 7, 8, 9 guys. So
and then you bring in Gibson for mop-up work, knowing that in a 3-run game in the latter part of the Twins basically waved the white flag
that
already.
That was game 2, though.
No, they brought Gibson in game 1 in the 7th inning, and then he gave up. He didn't look sharp, obviously, because he's been battling all year, and with injuries and with just not feeling well in general. And I think, too, even then, I didn't, at the time, I said, okay, wave the white flag in game 1 and, like, come back for game 2. But then game 2, the Yankees completely blow the doors off you, and Didi hits the grand slam. And Randy Dobnak, I think, in hindsight, like, Odorizzi pitched fine. I think I would have put Odorizzi on the hill in game 2 because going down 0-2 back at Target Field, like it just felt like the series was over just in the way it happened.
Right.
And there was nothing, and even Odorizzi pitching as well as he didn't save you. But then again, it just didn't. Hindsight's 20/20 in this situation.
There's a lot of what ifs.
I just think Baldelli mismanaged game 1, and I think it tumbled. I think the series just spiraled out of control from there. So I think a rookie manager looked like a rookie manager in that situation who was 38 years old.
Yeah, you have